In our reports over the past few days, we have told you about an attack carried out by the Ukrainian artillery units. This attack was an attack on the Russian-occupied port city of Berdyansk. It was a building located in the city that hosted illegal elections conducted by the Russian occupation administration. After the attacks on this building, Berdyansk was shaken by another attack. Moreover, this attack was also aimed at the building used by the Russian occupation administration for the election affairs. I will try to share the latest developments about these attacks with you in a moment. According to some sources, the war lost its former popularity. But we will appreciate that war has no connection with popularity. The war between Russia and Ukraine, which has been going on for almost 2 years, is affecting the lives of millions of people. Many people, both in the Ukrainian geography and the war geography, are having to face the effects of this war. Me and my team trying to convey to you this as well. I will also tell you about the incident in Berdyansk now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss the daily map reports prepared by the Pioneer team. I will also try to answer the questions from you in our next video. Please send your questions to me by commenting on this video. If you're ready, let's start. The Pioneer reports. The armed forces of Ukraine carried out very important operations on the front line during the most severe period of the war. That is, during the beginning of the Ukrainian counteroffensive. But the war is not won only on the front line. We have mentioned this before. The fortifications and supply lines that feed the armies on the front line are among the most important elements that will win the victory in the war. This is the case for both armies. There is also a question of legitimacy. If you occupy a territory, you must take steps to ensure its legitimacy there. If you cannot do this, you will be condemned to lose the territory you have occupied. The Russian occupation administration is also trying to dislegitimacy in many different ways in occupied Berdyansk, Melitopol, Mariupol, and many other different cities. The aim of the Russian administration here is to turn the indigenous people living in the region into citizens of the Russian Federation. Already before the war, the administration of the Russian Federation was trying to attract the local people living here to its ranks with various propaganda methods. However, the vast majority of people in the region resisted these Russian propagandas. One of the methods of the legitimacy of the Russian administration was elections. Recently, Ukrainian artillery troops had targeted a public building in the city of Berdyansk. This public building was one of the buildings used by the Russian government for elections. The attacks of the Ukrainian artillery against these efforts of the Russian administration have not stopped. Recently, Ukrainian artillery units again carried out an attack on one of the political offices of the Russian occupation administration in Berdyansk. The attack was announced by the Melitopol regional governor, Ivan Fedorov. The United Russian Party headquarters in Polohi near Berdyansk was hit, according to Melitopol Mayor Ivan Fedorov. Party members were in the building and holding a meeting, but the party's headquarters was hit. According to information we obtained from local sources, all the party members who were in the building lost their lives. However, these claims have not yet been verified. The administration of the Russian Federation maintains its silence in the issue. So far, the only official statements from the region was the statements of Melitopol regional governor Ivan Fedorov about the explosion. There is another interesting situation here. The United Russian Party is very antipathetic even within the borders of the Russian Federation. According to some allegations, the United Russian Party is paying money to buy votes from voters. These actions of the United Russian Party are characterized as a blow to democracy. It is possible to say the following about the attacks. We have used similar statements about the previous attacks. These elections are of a great importance for the Russian administration to ensure its legitimacy. The Ukrainian government does not want this legitimacy to be ensured. In fact, it is unlikely to provide either, because the local people in the occupied territories oppose the Russian occupation. We don't hear that too much. However, according to many local sources, the Russian occupation administration uses numerous propaganda methods to avoid showing this opposition to the occupation and hide the developments in the region. In particular, the attacks carried out by the Ukrainian army in the region are further encouraging the local population. The Ukrainian army is carrying out attacks on the areas behind the front line as well as the front line, disturbing the supply shipments of the Russian army. Let's put it this way. You're already familiar with our map reports. The Russian army receives a large number of shipments, especially through Berdyansk and Mariupol. In order for these shipments to reach the front line safely, there must be a safe environment at the Berdyansk and Mariupol points, which are the main stops. In addition, it is necessary to ensure security on the road from Berdyansk to Mariupol to the front line. This security cannot be achieved, and the Ukrainian army attacks the points in question. The Russian army will suffer a large number of losses. By losses, I mean not only the losses of soldiers. Of course, the loss of soldiers is also an important indicator, but millions of dollars worth of ammunition are used every day on the front line. In other words, the Russian army has to ship very high-value ammunition to the front line every day, as well as their provisions. With the passage of these materials through unsecured points, there is a possibility that they will be destroyed. Therefore, the supplies of the administration of the Russian Federation are also being disturbed. In addition, in this case, the Ukrainian armed forces have gained a very important advantage. While these events are taking place on the front line and in the occupation zones, there is an unmanned aerial vehicles panic on the mainland of the Russian Federation. The Berdyansk region of the Russian Federation, which has found its place in our report many times before, has once again appeared in front of us. Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles have appeared again in the skies of the Berdyansk. The unmanned aerial vehicles in question carried out a very critical attack. According to information we obtained from local sources, unmanned aerial vehicles were seen in the skies of Berdyansk in the early mornings. The vehicles in question targeted a microelectronic power plant located in the region. Along with the attacks of unmanned aerial vehicles, and large explosions occurred. Russian sources did not provide an explanation about the incident in question. However, according to local sources, there was a major material damage to the power plant. Now it's your turn. What do you guys think? Do you think the Russian government will be able to ensure the legitimacy in the occupied territories? How do you assess the attempts of the Ukrainian army to block the efforts of the Russian legitimacy in the region? Will we see more movement in the region? Mention it in the comments. I'm reading and caring about all your comments.